enjoy it, because that's one thing that teams have found success with, is keeping the hero pool small for some of the players. We always love to talk about who's playing unique heroes. If there's a way that a team is able to play a unique hero every game for themselves in this massive Swiss stage, if they're able to do it throughout all those rounds. But there's also, you know, something notable about sticking to it, being able to play that same hero over again, and being so proficient in it.
Yeah. You know what hero we forgot when talking about Toronto Tokyo? His Dawnbreaker.
I just mentioned his Dawnbreaker, but like whatever.
Oh, sorry, I have you muted.
I have you muted. 12K behavior score is needed. Sorry, we have
said
you
it like
muted
a
on the
lost
panel.
message. It's okay, man.
Prove that you said it. I don't believe it.
I'm so okay.
Timestamp it.
Clippers, can you send it to his Twitter?
Please do.
Well, either way, it's nice to bring it up twice.
Yeah,
right? This Dawnbreaker
that's how good it
I
is.
only remember it being brought up once.
Okay, once to twice, pending with an asterisk next
What
to
did you
it.
like about his Dawnbreaker?
I mentioned it in the context of they often first pick his hero between the Undying and the Dawnbreaker, and here it is again.
Yes.
So that's
Glad I mentioned the Dawnbreaker as it comes out here.
Fear, you're
Yeah,
so good. You're
so
literally
smart,
the
Fear.
best analyst I've ever worked with in my life.
That's why you're in the middle
Probably
between
true.
the two. Focus is going to go on you. Look, while we're jumping into this game one of a best of 3 draft between Aurora and Xtreme Gaming, I got to remind you guys, there's 4 streams going on right now, so feel free to tune into any of the other series that are happening over on the B, C, and D stream as well. But right now, yeah, we got to focus on that Dawnbreaker coming out as a first pick for Aurora, and Xtreme Gaming's response being in that disruptor.
Yeah, so I have to ask, why is the Dawn?
Okay.
Good.
He's not leaving
We're
this
still on
one.
this. We are. There's a very specific reason why it's very good.
The dad in you is showing, Fear.
Thank you. But there's a very specific reason why
What is it,
Dawn is.
Father? Please explain it to me.
Because Toronto Tokyo is the father, if we're going to use this analogy, for the team. And he has to protect his son,
Oh.
Kiyotaka, who is an absolute psychopath when he plays Dota.
I see.
And having that Dawnbreaker ulti join you when Kiyotaka inevitably blinks into 5 heroes will really help you out in the long run.
Okay.
So I think this is already an interesting start because, for example, Aurora Gaming is not a team that plays Nature's Prophet, and I think that's a hero a lot of people are going to be looking at for first picking. And because they don't play it, they also pick Dawnbreaker, which, like we mentioned now, too much. But Dawnbreaker is theoretically also good against Nature's Prophet, so that might dissuade Xtreme from taking that. And at the same time, I'm not sure if it's Ame's forte as well. So maybe these two teams specifically don't play Furion. But then there's a Disruptor that comes out first phase, which is, I don't really consider it a big answer to Dawnbreaker, because she can ulti in, and sure, you can glimpse her away, but at that point the damage is already done. She healed, she dealt some damage. Disruptor is a solid hero in the current meta, but to me it doesn't feel like a very strong response. And now we see a Leshrac, and I'm not really sure where they're going from this. So currently I don't see what Xtreme is really up to, but Aurora has like a very stable start to the draft with Dawn, and now they can follow up with 2 supports here if they want. Pretty easy.
Hello? Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. Hi. You're expecting something? Okay.
No,
Well,
I'm just looking at you. I'm just looking at my father for some wise words, that's all.
Wise words. Well, we'll have to see here. I think the Queen of Pain ban was very good. Whenever you have Dawnbreaker with Queen of Pain, you can make some very quick plays on the map. I think if I'm looking at Xtreme's hero, oftentimes when I do see a Leshrac, we don't know if this is going to be position 4 or mid. Could be either. But having some team fight to back it up, or some sustain to keep the Leshrac alive so it can continue to do damage, would be nice. So maybe you have to come with a countermeasure here from Aurora to be able to kind of like deal with that. I think whenever playing versus Leshrac, having the ability to burst that hero is always very nice to have.
Yeah, so when you play against Lesh, I think they need like a lot of burst damage.
Oh, rare.
Point.
I hadn't heard that one yet, so that is a very nice.
I think
Oh, so here it comes, the lion, the burst damage I talked about.
I think a vessel buyer is also good to have sometimes. I think you can go 2 routes. You can try to one-shot this hero, like, you know, with the lion idea. Otherwise, you can go for a hero that buys vessel and just, you know, put it on a Leshrac. Pretty easy to take down. And we still don't know what this Lesh is up to. In theory, you could play it as a support, right? This is being done in pubs as well. Curious to see what other support they're gonna pick, like some position 5 here.
How would you rate it as a support compared to mid right now? You're like, oh, it's probably more like 80% favored to be a better mid, and that's where it's picked more often.
I think usually it is gonna be better in the mid lane, but picking it so early is strange to me. because I don't think the hero has, because a lot of heroes, they become meta because the items make sense in the meta.
Right.
But even though Blade Mill's been nerfed, it's still a fantastic item against Leshrac. You can buy Pipe, Vessel is strong in the meta. There's so many items, and actually we do get a Vessel buyer with the Fury and probably position 5. So if I'm Xtreme, I'm not even sure if I want to put this mid, unless there's some new tech that I'm not aware of. This does not seem like a good Lesh game already, just from these responses, with burst damage and a Vessel buyer.
They're so pressured now on the map as well. Like, Aurora has a very simple game plan ready where your line's going to be able to set up, your Dawn can ult in, your Natures can TP in. It means that anywhere on the map, Xtreme can just be at threat. I like picking the SD here just as a save, like him being able to play in the fog behind his cores allows them to be able to farm the lane without just dying instantly.
So that just makes it a mid Lush then. So I see no reason not to just pick Kiyotaka's hero here.
And there's two ways to look at it too, because you can also, because you know what the mid matchup is, you could also sometimes pick the best carry for the game, because if you have 3 options. But like you said, I guess they go for the Ember.
I think they're keeping the idea of probably NP carry alive too.
That's not a Nightfall Prime hero.
He's played it.
He's played it.
He has played it,
yeah.
And they won. So
But there's a difference between a Nightfall hero and a Nightfall Prime hero, right?
you mean this hero has a built-in teleport? How is this not Nightfall Prime?
Hey, I'm gonna defend my new panelists, all right? Relax me, all right?
No, we'll see what they do here. Obviously, there's some good options as well for Nightfall, but if you think about some of Nightfall's classics, there's Shadow Demon.
You don't want to play Ursa, yeah.
These like Ursa, you know, even Omni Knights, these type of heroes aren't as appetizing. So we'll see what they decide to do with that. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if they just pick another position 5 that has a bit more team fight. I mean, they've got some really good global presence right now. They've got like Ember, Natures, and Dawn, so they're gonna be very scary on the map. But team fighting into potentially Disruptor, Leshrac, Mars might not be so simple. Maybe that's not the game plan at all to team fight though.
Yeah, I can see them going for some classic Doom for Nightfall. A hero that he can just stay in his lane and do his thing and pressure slowly. I think another tanky hero could work. Like, I still see this as a
Lifestealer?
Prophet 5. Lifestealer? That could work.
Yeah. It's another Nightfall hero. Pretty good this game. But they don't even know what they're doing.
I was gonna say, with
Xtreme,
Xtreme Gaming's ban, it being the clock, it feels like they're leaning towards it.
that one game where he played NP carry. Let's get in their head.
Okay, it was more than one game. It was like 4, but.
I see one game in the most recent 3 games.
They're
Okay, all right.
They're not listening to us.
That's
They don't know about Nightfall Prime versus Nightfall regular.
Yeah.
That's right. You gotta get in there. You gotta tell them. But yeah, they've gone for those supports, right? That Undying there. Well, I guess technically not, because they're thinking maybe the Dawn could be played on Nightfall, and they could still be picking up a Toronto Tokyo hero, right? So that Undying there as well is a pretty good cover for that
We're
one.
going too far there.
I'm just trying to get into the mind
Toronto
of Xtreme
Tokyo
Gaming.
not playing.
That would be
Dawnbreaker?
sick though.
That
Imagine
would
if
be
you just
criminal.
pulled out a Magnus right now.
I'm just
Have that team
saying,
fight.
based off what I'm seeing on the bands.
Could be true. Yeah, I mean, they have the ability to do anything. That's the beauty of heroes like Nature's Prophet and even Dawn, which can be flexed technically to any role. And they banned Morphling, banned Sven. I mean, the Sven ban doesn't make me think they wanted the Lifestealer, but maybe they expected to get banned later. We'll see if he goes Nightfall Prime or Nightfall regular.
Yeah.
Doom, Lifestealer, yeah, I think those are 2 good calls. I'm not sure what else that he's looking at, or it could be the past 5, like we mentioned. But I'm gonna guess on the melee hero for Nightfall.
Okay. Well, they don't have a lot of time. Oh, Nightfall Field, a bit stressed there. He's like, guys, just pick it, please.
Oh, Nightfall
Okay.
regular it is.
Nightfall this.
Yeah, it's gonna be Chen last to pick coming out there. So yeah, Panta's gonna be playing that one. A little bit of tempo for them there. A little bit more healing as well coming out.
I also kind of like it because it's a save that works against Mars. You know, when you're playing Mars with this facet that blocks vision inside of the arena, it makes it hard to play things like Pugna or whatever because you can't, save your guy unless you blink in and die. So Channel just gives that coverage there. You're gonna buy mech as well. And also, like, seeing as they're playing this global lineup where they can just run at you and run you over, Chen gives them that extra push as well to just close out the game.
Yeah, I think Chen is pretty good when the enemy team doesn't have a lot of damage. And I don't think they have that much damage. Between Disruptor and SD, these are two heroes that don't actually deal any damage in fights. They're just a save / setup for your other heroes. So much damage is being relied on from this Leshrac. And if Chen gets to buy an early mech, gets one of those like magic resistance creeps, maybe a pipe eventually down the line, I feel like Xtreme's going to run into damage issues. They do finish up with Ursa, which, you know, this hero can deal infinite damage, right? You cannot stop him, which is good, but it is a 24 hero, so, you know, you're going to get something okay in the game. So I do think that Chen makes a lot of sense for their game plan, but it also means, you know, they should get a lead in the early game. That's what I'm expecting from Aurora, and then they need to keep increasing that lead and not throw. And then I would predict them to win. Yes, self-proclaimed. Even though it's Nightfall regular, I do like their draft a lot more. I think they have some OP heroes in the meta, the way I see it, and I can see the vision. While Xtreme is a little more clunky to me, it's like they have to have some conditions being met. A lot of team fight, but not a lot of damage to back it up early game.
Things are definitely going to have to align a lot more for Xtreme Gaming. But Ray, yeah, you were saying some of your thoughts for here?
We're just thinking at least Xtreme's execution is not horrifically hard. Like, you're going to be playing Shadow Demon catch into like a spear, which like secures that, or a Lesh stun, blah blah blah. Like, I think they have ways to catch heroes and make plays happen on the map as Xtreme, so it doesn't look as clunky as it could.
Yeah. And some thoughts from you as well, Fear, unless they've already all been taken.
No, I mean, I think the execution is a lot more difficult for Xtreme in this game. Very winnable, but like you're playing into a lot of damage mitigation with Chen and the Dawnbreaker global presence. You have to play almost perfectly to make your heroes kind of work in this one. You have to go laning stage. But if that all happens and you shut down the laning stage somehow, you don't have a bad early game, you could take this game because this Ursa is definitely a really good pick.
Yeah, it feels like that's, like I said, a lot of conditions to be met, whereas for the side of Aurora, it feels like just this very easy flow of progression there. So it feels like you're mostly on the same side here for the three of you guys. Obviously, that caveat. Just
tri-laning.
Really?
I think tri-lanes are awesome. I miss them.
I think jungling is awesome. As we get started here, the game has begun. We can stop talking about absolutely useless information and tell you about what you're watching on the screen, which is XM and company for Xtreme Gaming versus Aurora. Do you have a favorite in this best of three?
I think
in terms of like general results this year, Aurora has been more consistent.
Right. I think I'm going to double check this, but I think when you and I did the predictions for this was one of the ones where we were on the border between, we think these two teams are in power levels going in. They're around the upper part of the middle-ish, like somewhere in the range of 7 to 9 is probably, or 7 to 10 is where we would probably place these in terms of power rankings. So I think this is a close match. In this game individually, I really like Aurora's draft. I think it's a lot of very powerful heroes in this patch. I think the pacing that they're looking to bring against Xtreme is very good, but there's also the whole, you know, the mental aspect. This is game number 1 of the tournament, so maybe not as much in your own heads just yet with all the pressure and whatnot, but there's probably still this voice in the back of your mind saying, all right, we don't want to go too late against Xtreme. They're good at late game. It's our Achilles heel.
Right.
So make sure you keep a stable and safe early game. But I think if both lineups play to the potential of what we've seen of these types of lineups recently, I think Aurora came out better for this. So got to deliver it in the gameplay, though. Pixlr, just a small part of the puzzle.
Yeah, will we have a level 1 fight? It looks to, well, we could have one here. Disruption from Jin Q, who gets sprouted. And everybody's going to walk away nice and safe. You did bring up an interesting point. Because the format of the tournament is quite different than past TIs, do you think there's more pressure on teams? Because a lot of times you could kind of skate by with the usual group stage, where now we have Swiss bracket. Every match matters so much more.
I definitely think... I mean, I suppose in order to be knocked out, you need to lose a couple of series, right? So you could still have like an off day or at least one bad series and still easily bounce back. But I don't know. I think there's day 1 feels probably more important than usual. I guess that's what I'm gonna say here, because when you did the round robin format, we plenty of times saw teams come off to a slow start, like maybe 1-3 or even 0-4 on their first day and not looking too good. They get time to figure out what's going on and make adjustments. If you start 0-2 in series, you can barely drop a series anymore. Whereas when you're 1-3, for example, in a round robin, you can still drop a couple of games here and there and recover it, right? So I think day 1 is more important. And yeah, even more so than you just want to get off to a hot start, where again, Aurora definitely have the tools here to be able to try to play it fast. Now, Panto, as we're seeing on our screens here, starting with the tried and true Satyr Mindstealer Convert. This is the most popular facet to pick on Chen. You just keep mana burning and effectively winning a lane, almost. Just make the supports feel miserable. You can see Jinkyu already almost out of mana 1 minute into the game.
Yeah, plus they have Lion on their team, so even more mana drain sooner. What a combination.
Lion, your favorite hero, by the way.
Of course. Yeah, we won't get into that, of course.
Yeah.
That'll be beating a dead horse. Ame playing the Ursa Warrior in this game number 1. How's this hero feeling these days?
I think it's very good in the right game. If you have a good lane matchup against, a lot of the time you're looking to lane against a melee core, but Dawnbreaker is just its own category in my book. It's an extremely powerful laner, so even Ursa doesn't feel particularly safe here. The stun combo between Lion and Dawn does a ton of damage, and you need to be careful about fighting at daytime. Don't talk about this too much with Dawn, but her innate, the Break of Dawn ability, which gives her more damage the closer to daybreak it is, means that you enter the laning stage against Ursa when the sun is at its highest point, and effectively the first couple of minutes of the lane you just out-damage Ursa quite significantly. It makes it hard for him to build that early advantage that he finds against a lot of other melee heroes. So then when nighttime comes around, if Dawn has won the laning by a little bit, maybe you can't necessarily treat her the same way as other melees. A lot of the time when you're Ursa, you're also looking at the bigger picture, like, is there enough lockdown for me, or can I play fights semi-freely? Can I isolate and kill targets? And he definitely has the setup and the ability to get in there if he gets either an Aghanims or BKB here somewhere down the road. So
I'm sure that will certainly happen. As top lane, Panto continuing to be a nuisance here. Jinkyu constantly out of mana.
Yeah.
And XXS just trying to get as much as he can in this laning stage. Only 9 CS for him at the moment versus the 13 on the other side for Toronto Tokyo on the Dawn. First Lotus goes to Aurora, so definitely dominating the lane to start things out.
Yeah, this is definitely the most one-sided lane we have in this game currently. Mars only 10-1 against Prophet's 20-4, and of course, generally how this lane is just going to go. I think this is on paper just a default loss. The lane for Xtreme. I don't think Shadow Demon Mars can really hold a candle to this lane, and they don't have to either. The main thing with Mars in a lot of laning stages is to just get by and get your levels. This hero, I find a lot of the time, actually can do quite a lot with relatively little means, especially when played by XXS. He's one of my favorite Marses to watch. So getting him levels, as long as he doesn't get completely destroyed, should be okay.
Mars does feel like one of those heroes that can still have pretty big impact in the game without having a ton of farm. As first blood, okay, X-Nova takes a tumble. Mira getting chased as Ame went to the wrong side of the trees. Now has to try to get to the other side, goes to the north instead. 3 members of Aurora beating upon him. Hammer on top. Ame still trying to get around the tree line. Starbreaker completely misses as Nightfall with the casual TP. Ame might actually live through this. TP support's coming in. Toronto Tokyo, I mean, he's not getting any CS Ame under this tower. As a glimpse, not going to do too much, but Ame does live through the day.
This is definitely game 1 of the tournament here. Little bit of cold fingers for Aurora. Some of those spells, not their best casts, but they still got the first blood, which is what they were looking for. And this is, of course, the X factor of having Nature's Prophet in any position, is you can just globally bring that extra player to the table if you see an opportunity to dive. And this bottom lane is quite susceptible to it. Sure, you've got Glimpse, but if Prophet comes in at the right time and then gets glimpsed away, just the Sprout and 2 attacks might be enough to finish a kill, as you saw there onto the Disruptor of X-Nova. Oh, Mira. One more hit would do it. Good Hex.
He's in quite a bit of trouble, but Toronto Tokyo able to turn the tide a bit. Glimpse, though, onto Mira. Last right click from Ame is enough, so finally getting some retribution in this lane for the Xtreme side. As he works towards the eventual Battle Fury, which will always have... I mean, the fact that he can eat through the Sprout, going to be pretty handy as well. As mid lane, haven't really talked too much about this, but XM on the left, 31-6 versus Kiyotaka's 34-2, so extremely even so far, as we're only 30 seconds away from the first power rune.
I think this is a pretty good result for Ember.
Ame Another TP from Nightfall. A couple more right clicks. Not quite enough. Ame does find the distance.
Yeah, I was going to point out, he opted for treads. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think phase is still the majority of the time is the prioritized choice, the preferred one for Ursa's, but this time around,
so as well.
Maybe the health from treads there slightly better than the armor. I don't know. I think phase would have saved him as well, but we'll see if this build up. Obviously, on Ursa, it might be a little bit counterintuitive, right? You have a built-in ability that gives you 1,000,000 attack speed, and then you're still buying the attack speed boots rather than the move speed ones to stick on your target and the ones that give more flat damage. But yeah, I guess in all the downtime and being able to tread switch, this has some merit. This is not the only hero that I've seen this on. We also had a hero like Abaddon, where phase boots was just the standard for years. And then tread started becoming more popular there as well. So maybe this is just a trend that we're going to be seeing this tournament more and more, that phase boots perhaps are at the point now where they're not considered the best. Mars will still go for them though, as it looks. XXS has them queued up. Unfortunately, he's not rich enough to afford any upgraded footwear just yet.
Yeah, you
Panto
seem
with
really
the gate.
obsessed with phase boots right now.
Yeah, do love them. Dawnbreaker will also buy phase boots.
Yeah, give us the full list. We're so interested. My goodness.
That's right.
Panto with his creeps through the gate, like you said, but we can see that Xnova and company are keeping their distance, so the tower might be taking the brunt of the damage here. Are they going to give it up, though, is the question. The catapult's going to be at the ready for Aurora.
Exactly. This is the time that you want to make that Chen rotation, is when you have a siege creep connecting on the tower. And Chen's creeps can cut the wave or tank tower shots if needed, so that the siege stays alive. And yep, that's exactly what's going to happen here. Summoning a new convert to block these attacks from the siege creep, and then the next wave is coming in. And yeah, I don't really think Xtreme have what it takes to defend this whatsoever.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
It's a very difficult play to rotate to. Leshrac looked like he was thinking about it on XM, but
if only they had phase boots on Ursa, then maybe they could defend this.
Or Lesh.
Yeah, that would make sense. And Panto makes his way back to the top lane. Nightfall level 5 right now, going to be working on the Maelstrom. Have we seen the other facet a single time? The money bags. In a pro game, that is. I don't even think I've seen it in a pub game.
I think we saw it the day it came out. The first game Prophet was picked, maybe. And then I think they were like, oh.
Oh, the enemy can pick up the goal.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that part.
Would it be broken if only your allies could pick it up?
I mean, isn't it just track, kind of?
I feel like the amounts you get from the money bags isn't even...
I mean, just being able to say money bags is too funny that I hope they keep the concept. As XM has a slight level advantage over Kiyotaka at the moment and has the illusion rune as well. It's a way to dispel the searing chains if it comes to be.
It's actually a full level ahead. That's really surprising, considering their CS. And well, they both have 8 denies, or rather, Lesh only has the 6. So I'm assuming Kiyotaka has been spending a little more time on lower value CS.
Well, XM also took a pretty nice stack in the triangle.
Yeah, okay, so the experience from that, it's still surprising that that is worth a full level to me. All right, actually, Kiyotaka with a dive here.
He's actually out of mana is XM, but the Diabolic Edict is something you truly have to respect.
Oh,
glimpse back, though, into the kinetic field. Kiyotaka did have a remnant up.
Yeah, that's the panel was talking about this. Kiyotaka is a very high risk, high reward type of player. And having a player like that in your team can be really powerful, because when he's on, he's super on. Obviously, the risks of him messing up sometimes is very much there, but playing against very aggressive players can be challenging for sure. And for a team like Xtreme, you could see there, they were bringing in multiple heroes to try to defend a Leshrac that technically wasn't even really under fire, but you just never know when Kiyotaka goes for these aggressive moves, if it's a poke and prod or if it's a true commit. So...
Yep, is Mira gonna get glimpsed back? Oh, first Solar Guardian of the game will actually be blocked correctly. Starbreaker to follow. XM looks to be the death of the Lesh along with Xnova, so a nice retaliation from Aurora. And now they have all these creeps here as Panto makes his way over, so another tier 1 in peril.
This is the start that their lineup wanted. As already established, their team can play very fast in this game and kind of exploit the early power timing of heroes like Chen and Prophet to get those buildings down. And with a 3k lead, looking at a mid tower as well, could be closing in on the 4,000 gold already. That's a quite substantial advantage to have now.
XXS, first arena of the game, but it instantly gets impaled by Mira into the Hex. Might be the sacrifice for Aurora. rebuke with the Pulse Nova enough. Ame actually makes his way over as well. Kiyotaka glimpse back. Doesn't have a... Well, he's going to get speared to a tree. Has a sleight of fist to buy a little bit of time with the remnant to the other side. X-Nova, though, spots him. Another remnant onto the other side of the kinetic field this time. And Aurora will be able to get out with most of their lives. 3K lead, forcing the Ursa out. Definitely a good thing for the Aurora side.
Yeah, the enemy team placed 5 heroes mid for like 30 or 40 seconds. This is a lot of efficiency being lost in side lanes. In the meantime, Prophet just TP'd top and immediately continued farming. The Dawnbreaker's bottom, so Aurora, without question, getting more out of this exchange. Yes, you did stop the push, but having to bring all 5 heroes to stem the bleeding is not ideal, to say the least, for Xtreme. Still, this is not in the territory of... You're not in big trouble yet. And I think holding onto your mid tower has a lot of value. The main thing you want to avoid is that you just get rolled in the first 20. Like, if Ursa gets to his second or third item timing after the Battle Fury, that's when this game gets really interesting. Because his matchups are as good as they are, like we talked about. There's nothing really countering this hero this game. So the hero-to-hero matchup against carry Prophet is very good. Prophet has great stat gains and is usually just going to stand and deliver. Ursa wins that fight 10 out of 10 times. So... yeah, Xtreme, if they can keep it in this range.
Denied haste rune.
Gonna cost them.
Yeah, X-Nova.
Oh, they
actually gets to the high ground. He's gonna be okay, it seems. Although Kiyotaka, one more slight, does finish the job. Solar Guardian coming in. Mira getting some health back, but will be the death of Aurora. So 1 for 1. But XM trying to get outside this arena. A lot of damage with the Diabolic Edict. Toronto took to the high ground. Looks like he will survive. Unfortunately for Xtreme, they do lose the Lesh. And now Jin Q eats his way out of the Sprout. Now, far enough away that should be okay. Another Searing Chains, though. Disruption. Can help keep him alive a little bit longer as the Shadow Poison start to stack up a bit. Next, Nova looking for a glimpse. Oh, he gets Mira back to base.
See ya.
The classic.
Another win there for Aurora, though. Overall, killing Lesh once more.
They haven't really gotten it. I mean, I don't think he just hit level 6 recently for X-Nova, but that Static Storm, gonna pay huge dividends in these fights.
This, worth noting, that fight was also without Hand of God. So Panto didn't have it available at the time. In the upcoming fight, that is going to make a big difference. Fear was talking about this on the panel. I believe it was him or Fly, or both. You know, they sound the same to me. They both say very smart things consistently. The sustain between Chen and Dawn is nothing to scoff at here. A lot of Xtreme Gaming's damage is actually not bursty. It's only really the Ursa that brings that burst to the table. Leshrac is consistent damage over time. You're definitely getting in your Chen heal. You're definitely getting in your Dawnbreaker heal in that. And as they also mentioned, damage issues is a bit of a concern. Between Mars, Shadow Demon, and Disruptor, these heroes don't do significant damage, so you're really putting all your eggs into the Leshrac Ursa basket to do the damage needed to kill heroes, which in turn means that in this early part of the game, you know, the sustain goes a long way. Interesting to see Panto opt for drums over mech, by the way, for that reason in particular. I thought he was actually going to just triple down on the healing angle. But he will go drums into pipe. That one less surprising. Good against many abilities here. Leshrac, Shadow Demon, Disruptor, and even Mars Sphere. A lot of magic damage to be blocked. Ursa doesn't give a crap, though.
No, he does not.
Oh, there's Earth Shock.
Yeah, that's a little bit here and there. And Ame only the recipe away from Battle Fury, so that's when the farm will start to truly take off.
What do you make of the Atos on Lesh? Do you... Because the panel was talking about this is a game where Lesh can kind of get isolated and taken down by bursts from heroes such as Lion and, you know, connecting Dawn Ultimate. I'm a little bit worried that this Atos is not going to pay off in the way that you're hoping. Because are you really able to make the aggressive moves that this item kind of sets up?
Right.
Or should you just opt for, you know, something more defensive like Kaya Sanj, BKB, maybe even Bloodstone, these types of items. He's going Kaya next. Oh. Sometimes you see Lesh Rush Blink as the offensive option, not this case.
Well, either way, it is an offensive option, right? So
yeah.
Seems that they're going to be wanting to fight relatively soon. The only problem is, I mean, the Ursa can't really fight until the second item, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe that's the idea. It gives you more of a fighting chance until Ursa's online, so it's kind of bridging the gap. It's also not strictly offensive. You got the 275 HP on it, but yeah, other options for Lesh usually favored in the defensive.
Now, Mir and Kiyotaka just walk right past the bear, unknowing. Kiyotaka's going to take a little bit of the farm on the sideline. But Ame taking a nice stack with that Battle Fury, as another tier 1 is likely to bite the dust.
Yep. Oh, that's a lot of rally there.
Oh yeah, I love rally.
Skeleton Warriors getting to work.
What's the... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, surely you're going mid next, right?
I thought you were going to mention phase boots again, my bad.
Yeah, well, if those skeletons had phase boots, that would be...
Oh, they're going to jump. The Ember, the Static Storm being used, and that is exactly what we were talking about. That is the one use here that could find the early deaths of Kiyotaka, taking advantage of that very aggressive style that you talked about. And this is something that we've talked about in the past as well, is every team feels like they need one of these high risk, high reward type of players, and that's what Kiyotaka is. Well, I guess the issue is Aurora kind of has a lot of them historically.
Yeah, it's definitely good to have one player that can bring chaos. But I also think it's also a little bit, how to say, it's not ideal if you're too conservative on the other players simultaneously, right? Like you want the right dynamic. Okay, this is a nice catch onto Xnova.
Yep.
Nice find there from Mira plus Nightfall in tandem. That will get Nightfall his killing spree, the first of the game. Retaining this 4K lead. But yeah, this Ember kill might not seem like the biggest of deals. You know, you already got the tower, but keep in mind that the goal here for Xtreme Gaming is to stay afloat. The goal isn't to be winning or get ahead. So every kill you get on a core to slow things down a little bit and retain some semblance of control over your side of the map is quite valuable. And to be fair, Kiyotaka is supposed to play aggressive here. You just need to not overplay your hand too much. You've got Hand of God, you've got Dawn ult, so if you're not extremely out of position, you can be safe.
Pretty aggressive, but the backup is here. XXS with the spear, but not able to find the latch. And Kiyotaka gonna posture a bit more with another Sleight of Fist. Has that Mage Slayer, so
yeah,
mitigating a lot of damage, especially from the Lesh.
It's a super good item this game. It's the item against Lesh. You get the magic resist. It's very nice against a lot of the other heroes as well. Just reducing a lot of the threats, but as we already just saw, if you are out of position enough, you could have basically almost any item you can afford at 17 minutes, and you are just going to get killed off there. Big item alerts here. Dawn rushing the BKB here on Toronto Tokyo. Did not go for Aghanim's Scepter. So he wants the staying power of getting in there and staying in there, and now probably rushing BKB first. You might just go straight for more scaling. Is he only getting this against Glimpse? You could have bought your shard, right? Which is, it's not a foolproof solution.
You have to time it for sure.
Yeah, and you can ulti in and you can get into Static Storm. Then you can't use your Starbreaker either.
They spot Xnova, the Hex to start things out. The pipe is activated though. Now Mira trying to get on the run. The bear's gonna eat up Panto. He pops the hand of Gabe, and 2 dead already for Aurora though. He'll likely have to retreat now. XXS still looking for the opening though. Spear gonna be faked out. Not able to find anything though, so Xtreme get 2 supports and a tier 1 tower in all likelihood.
They were very prepared for that, just fully set up. Aurora were trying to go for a stab and immediately counterplayed. And this is really good news for Xtreme Gaming. This is half the lead cut away. Ursa is getting there. He's closing in now on the Basher. Ame's farm is starting to ramp up to a high degree. He was trailing quite a bit behind Prophet. Now we're only looking at 800. And considering how well these heroes farm and generally what level you're looking at to be right now, I think Ursa is ahead in this game by being 800 gold down only against Prophet. So taking full game plans into consideration. And again, this isn't just about the numbers. It's also about how do the teams feel now? Like, what is Aurora's next play? Do you have a clear plan in mind for the next way you want to try to shut down the map? Because ideally in this stage, you are looking at tier 2 towers. You're looking at contesting the Tormentor. You're looking at the first Roshan of the game. You're not there. Like, Aurora have they put a dent into a tier 2 tower? Barely in the mid lane. So I can't say that they fully met the goals of their draft at this point. And now it can maybe get a little bit awkward. Perhaps you have to slow things down a bit and get to your next items, but Xtreme will be more than happy to just trade.
Yeah, being able to take an early Roche against an Ursa lineup would have been really big. But Now it just feels like if Xtreme comes out even slightly on top of the next fight, they should be able to get Roche.
Yeah, looking for a move of their own here with the smoke. They're well aware that Aurora have big counterplay potential with Dawn, Chen, as well as Prophet, so they're bringing all 5 in this move. And Mira, I believe, did just get scouted there by XM, so he's probably going to end up dying here. It's a small price to pay, though, for a 5-man smoke break, and he might even get out.
Oh,
nice.
Very close.
Beautiful stuff.
But it will be the old Tormy.
Yeah.
Shard goes to X Nova. Not the best. I mean, how good is Cleanse this game? I guess that depends.
It's good against chains.
Yeah.
Mainly.
That's kind of it, I guess.
That's really it, which is also still really good, to be fair.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, this isn't so much about you getting on your supports. It's about the fact that Aurora don't get this, which was, you know, again, this is part of what their lineup is meant to do, is get these early objectives kind of for free by being impossible to overwhelm. And Xtreme Gaming have already managed to do just that.
Yeah, so. And if Aurora had the 50-50, if they were to get Torm, then potentially Chen could get the Ancient Creeps.
Yeah.
Which is one of the bigger power spikes for a support, I feel like, getting a Shard.
Even Lion's Shard isn't too bad this game either, right? You're playing against a lot of stuns, and just having this reliable mana drain upgrade would have been quite nice in the fights too. Draining out Ursa can actually be very impactful. Yeah, not going to be the case here, as Mira is well at the bottom of the net worth. In spite of that, does now have his Blink Dagger, but we're 21 minutes in, and you won the laning stage. It's quite late Blink to pick up. Now, do Aurora have a timing coming up? So Kiyotaka is 300 gold away from BKB. That's a big one. They have the BKB on the Prophet as well, and on Dawn. So this is going to be triple BKB timing. A very strong moment to strike. Panta will complete Pipe as well. As you pointed out in that previous engagement, the Pipe was on Xtreme. They got it first because XXS did not go the Blink Dagger on Mars. He went double Bracer Soul Ring into Pipe and now going Yules. So it doesn't feel like he needs the dagger whatsoever, as it seems.
Yeah, very utility build from XXS.
I kind of like it. You got Glimpse anyway to bring heroes back as long as you run into them. You've got Ursa, who has Dagger, and now Basher, so he can go in first. I think this is a cool game to skip the Blink on Mars, maybe entirely. We'll see if he queues it up now after Yules. Wouldn't necessarily mind just seeing him going more aura heavy or something like, I don't know.
I feel like he'd get it at some point, surely.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, if this goes late, you do want the jump, right? It's just the surprise of the catch, but I wouldn't blame him for not queuing it up next. I think there's some other interesting possibilities with something like, if you wanted to get creative, like Octarine Core, or you could just buy another Aura Hex. Let's see. BKB.
Smoke from Aurora.
Queuing up the BKB for now. Just wants that.
Yeah, they spot XXS. I don't know if that is the easiest target to go for, though, with that Pipe and Yules at the ready.
They have to hex him if they want to burst him. He has Yules, and yeah.
They do show that they're there. Mira, in the meantime, finding a support on the other side. Gets the finger, and that is the death of X Nova.
Okay, can they convert this to anything? Roshan is currently bottom. Looks to be what they're potentially planning here. And, well,
this would be pretty big if they can get away with this, but I do feel like Xtreme could try to contest.
I mean, this is extremely telegraphed. They have to know this. Like, there's no way. Yeah, you can see XXS already.
Yeah, I'm trying to delay.
Moving in.
I don't know if they can stay in the pit.
They can.
XXS has the arena. Gonna get sprouted to start things out. Very tanky boys. Nightfall trying to get through it. Gets the Mars arena off onto 2 with a Rebuke to follow. Demonic conversion is Nightfall. Pops the BKB. Trying to right-click everybody is XM, also popping his BKB. He's going to be fine. Solar Guardian not going to hit anybody. It's Toronto Tokyo now. Yules speared into the cliff with the Split Earth to follow. Kiyotaka with a nice searing chains onto several heroes. And after all of this, they do get the glimpse, but that's the BKB now from Toronto Tokyo. Ame in a little bit too deep. Hops the Enrage. Can mitigate a lot of that damage as a result. There's the Static Storm just on the outskirts. The Ember in a lot of trouble. Will be able to get dropped as XM pops the Essence Ring to stay alive. Meantime, disruption to save the time being is Ame focusing everything onto Nightfall. The spear onto the low ground. Nightfall might be able to get out now. Gets glimpsed though into the Split Earth. Down goes another member of Aurora. Toronto Tokyo trying to get something out of this fight. He's just likely going to get glimpsed back. Oh, that's down for 6 seconds. So might be fine, in fact, with the cover of creeps on the high ground. But still, 2 cores dead for Aurora. And Xtreme, they defend the Roche successfully.
That was exceptional defensive utility usage there from the side of Xtreme. Keeping Mars alive there was very impressive. They needed to do everything more or less flawlessly in the tail end of that fight. XXS gets off the Yules at 100 HP. He comes out, he gets disrupted, then he gets glimmered, and in the meantime, they're hitting all of their offensive abilities too. Just dancing around the 3 BKBs of Aurora, losing absolutely nothing here. We're going to see the start of the fight here. Also, keep in mind, XXS is solo here for the first 10 seconds. Yeah. It's just a full-on bluff. If they hard commit on him, he's just going to die, but instead they don't have the information. Lion gets burst immediately by Ame, which is a huge find to start off this fight. Nice offensive Yules, gets the spear catch. And now here, it doesn't look clear-cut that this is going to end up the way that it did, but the glimpse... The fight could have ended here, right?
Yeah.
Aurora could have disengaged.
They wanted him bad.
Could have disengaged, and...
The fact that they held on to Static Storm this long, a lot of patience.
Look at this from XXS. Side. So Yules, he has 60 HP. Okay, that's not XXS anymore. It is the duality of Kiyotaka. A little bit of a face palm there.
Modern day Eternal Envy, some would call him.
He is, in terms of playstyle and hero pools, you could say sometimes at least. Well, I guess the only hero he truly shares with Envy is actually the one we're seeing in this game. At least the number one that comes to mind for me is that Ember. That Envy obviously had some very famous moments on many years ago. One of the most entertaining players in the game's history. I think most people would agree with that. Just
that's right.
Some players just create moments, for better or worse. And Kiyotaka is... I would say Kiyotaka is more stable than Envy was. I think Envy just had games that left you completely dumbfounded the whole way through. And Kiyotaka has these ridiculous pop-up games where you're like, this guy's the best player in the world. And then in the next game, you're like...
Who is this guy?
Yeah. What happened in 20 minutes?
That's true. It's not a fair comparison. Nobody can really, truly be compared to Envy.
Yeah. It was one of a kind.
Nobody played for late game as much as Envy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. He leveled up when he lost Barracks. That's when he played his best, always. Yeah, Kiyotaka, not as much of a comeback player. He's generally the guy paving the way for success or kind of going down with his ship.
Yeah.
So far in this game, just a simple 1K lead for Xtreme. Looking at the bigger picture, though, do like it for them. And especially now, if they manage to get this Roshan, which seems completely uncontested from Aurora. I say that. Kiyotaka might try to be cute here.
Okay, we've seen a steal or two from an Ember. Remnant in, and Ame is able to get it. They take Yules now. Onto Kiyotaka's gonna have to pop the BKB. He's gonna take the brunt of damage from Ame, trying to get through him, but there's a solar guarding. He's actually stuck inside the pit. They may be able to get to burn through this Aegis to start things out, but Ame able to get to the other side of the pit in time. Mars Arena onto 2. Meanwhile, XM, he was taking the brunt of damage for the time being, but as Toronto Token pops the BKB, trying to pursue XXS, but another beautiful disruption from Jin Q. Ame in really deep. That is life number 1 for him. They take out the Ember. As XM with the BKB, he's just going to run away, and Ame looks like they want to fall back. I say that, but their spear onto the low ground. Mira in a lot of trouble, gets the finger of death, but dies shortly after. But the right clicks are enough from Nightfall to delete XM from the map. Ame now focusing onto Nightfall, cannot get the bash, but the glimpse back, and another right click will do it. Meanwhile, the bash is reserved for Toronto Tokyo instead. Down he goes, 4 dead for Aurora. Looking for the cleanup onto Panto, but looks to be safe for the time being.
Damn. There's a little bit of divine intervention in that fight, and it's going against Chen, so might want to change his faith after this one. Well, Mars just has a haste rune spawning in front of him, picks it up, and gets the backstab angle onto Mira, which had pretty big implications for that fight. If he doesn't get that spear into the river, perhaps Mira gets another stun chain on the Ursa, and we could be looking at the direct opposite outcome. You're going to see the replay here. So first of all, good defense from the side of Xtreme to protect the Aegis from Kiyotaka. Now this Dawn ulti, very, very strong coming in from Toronto Tokyo, does give them a fighting chance. Not sure if we get all the way through the replay. This is coming up, but now you see 28 minutes coming in. Now the haste rune is going to spawn at the bottom right of the screen there. And as he comes out of disruption, Mira could have taken it. He didn't see it.
Wow.
Oh, he never had the mouse or the camera around his hero, which is very understandable. You're looking at the fight, not where you are yourself necessarily, but if he could have taken that haste rune, we could have been looking at a very different result. XXS continues using it here, right? Gets that Just runs in, gets the backstab on Mira, and then following up on additional heroes. And since he isn't playing with Blink, he was not really going to get there in the same fashion without a haste. A little bit of a gift from the gods there going his way, and now
No, 6K, a pretty healthy spot. I mean, they don't have the Aegis anymore, of course, but they used it to be able to win that fight relatively handily, and now with that 5K lead.
It's worth keeping in mind that the prognosis here is about a 60% advantage for the Radiant, but again, I think you can maybe add some percentages to that.
Kiyotaka instantly bashed and just destroyed. Ame, no chance to get away for Kiyotaka.
I believe that's the Abyssal reveal, right? I don't think he had it last fight, so Kiyotaka might not have anticipated this.
And it looks like Torment time again.
Yeah. Knowing the two teams, I don't know if 60-40 is where I'm at personally right now. I do like Xtreme's chances a lot. This is the stage of the game that for many Aurora games, things start bleeding out a kill here. They're making a few mistakes.
No.
You can't afford it here. Like, no. We're looking at almost perfection here on out if you want to stabilize this game once more.
XXS has a full AC, by the way.
Yep.
Split Earth. Gonna find Toronto, Tokyo trying to get out, but the bash and Ame just eats him for dinner or breakfast since it is morning here.
Yep.
And Nightfall trying to find the distance. XXS, of course, not with the Blink Dagger, but he is so ridiculously tanky now.
I love the AC choice. Like I was saying, I don't think Blink was a necessity. He was queuing up BKB for the longest time and then just took that good fight. And he probably felt like, oh, I had 4K, now I have 5.5. Maybe I'll buy something bigger. And with this AC, 3,000 HP, also looking at the damage breakdown of the Dire, it's heavily physical. Prophet's almost exclusively physical, Dawn is physical, and then you've got well, Dawn's a mix, but Ember at this point, that's the problem with Kiyotaka's build. Do you even talk about damage types? Do you even talk about damage?
Yeah, that's
you have BKB Mage Slayer at 32 minutes. Your hero does very little damage, so I don't think the BKB was necessary at all, so I really like XXS's choice here of playing like a hybrid item. This is nice just to, you know, stand in the front of the fight, take as much damage as possible without dying, and adding to your own and Ursa's output. Helps you with sieging towers. There's a lot of upsides to Assault Cuirass. Feels like this has been 20 minutes in the making that Panto's hitting this tower.
Yeah, the Satyr will finally get
something.
He'll get solace in death.
Yeah.
Tower survives. Just chicken away at it though.
On XM as well.
But Xtreme with a 10K lead now in a pretty comfortable position. So from Aurora's side, what are they missing here? It feels like these fights are pretty long-winded, I want to say.
They're missing damage. I think that's the simple answer to that question. You just don't do enough.
All right, well, obviously Nightfall is going to be getting more damage, but you're saying a second hero needs to arrive, right?
I think so.
So in terms of itemization, what are you looking for either the Dawn or Ember?
So Ember could go something like Kaya Sanj Ags, but talking like 8,000-9,000 gold.
Yeah.
For Dawn, AC, which is on the docket here for Toronto, Tokyo, I think is the best pickup because he needs to be able to, first of all, increase his own output and staying power in the fights, but also it helps Prophet do that little bit extra. So I think these items are fine. The problem is you are the team that needs time now, and that is really not where you want it to be. But yeah, Daedalus plus AC, and then Ember getting one damage item perhaps can swing things around a little bit. It's the Daedalus complete. That's 1 out of 3. AC is 2 and a bit thousand away, 2.5K. And Kiyotaka is not committed yet for the Kaya, by the way, so I wonder if he's weighing his options here, if there's something else he's seeing.
Divine Rapier, Syndrome?
Yeah, just go for it, go YOLO. It wouldn't surprise me if Kiyotaka did it. Surprise me for anyone else. Well, considering he's not buying this yet, either he does not have enough for buyback and it. He does not indeed. Quick buy and buyback, 80 gold away. So maybe that's just the case. He's just got it locked. Or I'm just trying to think of what alternative items he could be considering. Because I think it's good if he goes a magic route, because if he also starts going a physical route along with his Dawn and Prophet, I think the AC and Shivas are just way too good.
Right.
You have to mix your damage types here.
I mean, maybe things change a bit for Xtreme now that the AC is online. They don't exactly have the craziest tower push. I mean, Diabolic Edict doesn't do damage to buildings. But there's a point where the critical mass on the items for Ursa and the Mars just get to a point where it doesn't matter what heroes you have, they can push.
It's actually the game. You just gave me an interesting idea. What if you could change your facet at some point? Would you think
Like for a gold amount, you mean?
either for gold or like there's a time that it becomes available? Like let's say you can change your facet at 45 minutes, one time.
I think then it makes.
I mean, honestly,
facets-
some heroes would be ridiculous.
It makes
with that,
facets
right?
too one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Because you can always change it. Like
Well,
the decision,
45 minutes is quite long.
the decision should be at the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
I think.
For sure. I don't know. It's just I've never really thought about the possibility.
In other
of what
words,
if you could,
really stupid idea.
I didn't say it was a good idea. It just had me thinking.
That's true. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Oh, Nightfall. Might be spotted. Ame. Oh, gets the Abyssal Blade onto Ember. Kiyotaka in a lot of trouble. Tries to Remnant away, but Remnant's on himself and dies to the bear. Ame trying to turn his sights onto Nightfall instead. They do take the support out. So 1 for 1, but definitely in favor of Xtreme again.
Yeah.
And XM going to the high ground. He's going to get Hex, but XXS is there. BKB pop from Nightfall. The Solar Guardian to follow as well. Starbreaker on top of XM taking a ton of damage, but the Mars Arena doing quite a bit. Toronto Toki's getting melted along with Nightfall. So just like that, 3 cores dead for Aurora. It feels like their supports are living longer consistently over their cores, but it's 4.
Yeah, well, none of their heroes have saves except the Dawn ulti, if you will. So whoever Ursa gets his teeth on, or claws, I suppose he doesn't bite. Generally not long for this world.
I mean, bears bite, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, not Ursa though.
Maybe a new
evolved.
cosmetic. Yeah, where's the Ursa Arcana?
Yeah, Valve.
You have the cowboy hat. You gotta get something on top of that, right?
Oh, isn't that funny that that was such a controversial item back in the days? And now it's just like, if that cowboy hat cosmetic came out, everyone was like, that's par for the course.
I think nobody would even
fun.
care. Like,
Yeah.
it would be a point like, this is not crazy enough anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cowboy hat. Who cares?
Very storied item. I believe still one of the more valuable items in the game, right? It's pretty rare.
I haven't kept up with the marketplace recently.
Okay. I know you're a big hat aficionado, of course.
Yeah, sure am.
You love rating sets, but you don't really
I
like
think
playing many
in the
heroes.
course of like the Dota cinema days, I don't know how many chests I open. I probably have the worst luck of anybody. I think in terms of like the ultra rares, I've gotten 1 in my entire life.
Yeah, I
Isn't
think
that kind of
that's
crazy?
Yeah, it's funny how everybody you talk to thinks they're the least lucky person ever.
It's not confirmation bias with me though.
No.
At some point, it's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's what everybody says as well. It's also not confirmation bias with me, by the way. I'm the least lucky person.
That's right.
Oh.
You finally met the person that is true for us in there. Okay?
Okay. I've been looking for you all this time. We finally found the world's unluckiest man. He's right here on this broadcast.
That's right.
Well,
at
you've
that
you've
Marsh
had
mage.
luck with other things in life, Shannon. Okay,
That's
maybe you
true.
haven't
I've
had
been
luck
fortunate.
with cosmetics. There's a lot of
I was
other things.
fortunate enough to meet you.
That's right. That is the highlight of your life.
Indeed.
Yeah. Wife can take second place. Uh-oh.
XXS showing off the Hex. Finding the Dawnbreaker. I don't think the Hand of God is going to be enough as Ame
Nope.
takes another one to the grave. Glimpse just in time. And a second casualty for Aurora.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in big
Now
trouble.
they're in trouble. After those 2 kills, they were in it till that point.
Yep. They're in troubler than
Swift
before.
blink for Ame. Going for the Satanic next. In fact, almost has enough to finish it anyway. And Roche number 2. The Belch won't really dissuade much.
It's a pretty good Satanic game as well. What is going to stop you from using this? Only the Lion and the Dawn. So if those stuns are on cooldown, you can break out of Searing Chains and stick on a target, get that big heal up. As you already established, the fights generally tend to take a little bit of time before Xtreme's cores seem to be under any pressure, and I feel like we haven't sung Jinkyu's praises enough this game. I think
He has been
disruptions
godly.
have been
Yeah, they've been so
incredible this game. And it's one thing to cast the spell well, which, you know, in itself, this is...
Kiyotaka, Atos to start, Diabolic Edict, then the Hex to
Remnant
follow.
out.
Shivas, he had the time
Absolutely.
playing
out of
with
that.
his food, which really he's getting scraps this game, so that was unfortunate.
Yeah, not ideal.
Maybe he's trying to bait in some more heroes and get the min-max. The min-max was death for him, though.
Yeah, I'm not really sold. I think that's just to get the hell out of their situation, but not that time. But yeah, just to what I was mainly impressed by in Jinkyu this game is it's one thing to time the disruptions as well as he has, but I think his positioning has been stellar. Right? It's really, really important in this game for Shadow Demon to just play at the correct distance and keep formation at all times. If you are the one getting jumped by Lion a singular time, or if Ember gets to isolate you, you can very quickly die and the fight changes in a big way.
Yeah.
I feel like Xingqiu has never been the primary target the entire game. We're 40 minutes in. I've seen 2 disruptions every team fight. Great Glimmer usage.
Yep.
All the tools he's had at his disposal just been used to...
I think the only knock on him this game probably for Xingqiu is that he didn't buy phase boots. Other than that, he's just had a masterful performance.
Obviously,
on the Shadow Demon.
phase boot's great for positioning. You get that extra mobility and you can run through things. So
and armor.
Yeah.
Don't forget the armor.
Yeah. Not that important when you don't get caught, though.
Yeah, but it dissuades the enemy. It's like, oh, he has 5 extra armor? Okay, not interested anymore.
I think you need to be careful. There's quite a lot of people listening here, and you might give beginners the wrong idea here. Oh, I've never tried Shadow Demon with phase boots. I'll try
Just don't play Shadow Demon if you're a new player.
Slacks is listening. He's like, I buy phase boots on every hero because I buy 5 boots.
Stay a little bit longer. Oh, disruption dodges the finger of death. Disgusting display again from Xingqiu as Ame in the front eats another target. This time it's Mira. 50 seconds of no Lion, no buyback either. Roche Banner going to try to protect this a bit, but Nightfall ends up taking it out. Now Xtreme have to wait for the next creep wave. Blink Dagger now online for Xingqiu. So no longer needing those phase boots that we talked about.
Decent poke onto XM here. Might keep Xtreme Gaming on the defense. Nope.
XXS was looking for an initiation. We'll use the Mars Arena anyway. Spear is dodged thanks to Nightfall's BKB as Ame just focusing on the objectives. Tower dead. And now the retreat, at least for the time being, from Xtreme. Still 2 minutes on the Aegis, though. Playing it very safe. And
considering how XXS has been playing this game, I wonder if Nightfall should have bought a Silver Edge instead of the Satanic. It's not characteristic at all for Prophet to go that build, but the way that Xtreme have structured all of their fights is XXS goes in front, Bulwark up, and Prophet just cannot kill him. So having some sort of way to get through XXS could have perhaps broken the fight wide open. It just makes Xtreme's job of keeping formation so easy when they can just send in the centerpiece that seemingly cannot die. As a matter of fact, XXS is 1-0 and 18. He never died this game.
pretty impressive.
Pretty much I mean, I love watching this guy's Mars for a reason. I think you can tell just how experienced he is in knowing the limits of the hero, and also the itemization is something that I think most players just wouldn't have gone this game. The pipe rush into Ewells was really clever, in my opinion.
Especially the phase boots, that was also quite clever.
Yeah, loved that.
Like, all 6 items just work so well together. Yeah. Incredible.
Ame, unfortunately...
Kiyotaka gets split earth, and another kill for Ame.
Yep. Will they find a glimpse too? No.
So buyback is available for Kiyotaka. Otherwise, has to wait 80 seconds. Glimpse. Oh, they're going to be able to dodge that. Knife on that with the BKB. XXS gets the Mars Arena onto 2 heroes. The rest of his team going to try to focus on the melee barracks. Only 30 seconds on the Aegis.
He forced Nightfall's BKB with that arena. I think that's a worthwhile trade, honestly.
Yeah, this will be 1 lane at the very least, and they will likely go mid to try to capitalize on this. What can Aurora do here? Another fortification. That's going to be potentially the last of the game.
Aurora can thank the format that this is not a BO1, so they get a chance to return fire in the upcoming games, unless they find some heroic play here. Okay, good Ghost Scepter.
Yes, they still have the spear connection, and that is going to be a dead Lion. 50 seconds of no Mira, no buyback to come either. And more buildings will melt, so they're waiting for this death timer of Kiyotaka, despite having the buyback, just for one last hurrah, but they're going to lose most of their buildings in the meantime. Actually, the jump onto Nightfall, already at half HP. The Solar Guardian doing very little. That is the death of Nightfall, and they did not buy back on Kiyotaka at all. In fact, they're just going to call GG. So game 1 going to Xtreme. Pretty entertaining game, though. Yeah. I mean, Aurora off to a good start, as we talked about. They needed to get off to, but in the mid game, just a couple of mistakes that were capitalized by Xtreme.
Yeah, I think this was a pretty good illustration of what both teams' lineups were meant to do and what needed to happen.